Okay, so let's have a look at adding some textures or using materials, and we might even have a look at the 3D warehouse. All right, this is going to allow us to start creating more realistic drawings. So we've looked at some of the tools in the working space. Let's actually have a look at creating a realistic environment. And to do that, I'm going to start with a rectangle, which is a shortcut of R. Okay, and I'm going to draw a square shape, and I'm just going to punch in 2500 comma 2500. That means it'll be 2.5 meters by 2.5 meter square. And this is going to need a little bit of depth. I'm going to click on this face and I'll just add 20 mils of thickness. Now, before I go any further, I don't want, as I continue to build other components in this sketch, I don't want this to be modified at all. So I use the selection tool, which is just my space bar to get to this, I can click on this face. It's a coplane face. I could zoom in here and I could click on this face here, this thickness. But if I triple click, you'll see the blue lines have now highlighted the entire component. And I'm going to right click this and make this a component. And I'm going to call this my grass. And I do that, I just type it in and hit enter. And I'm locking this component so that if I build on top of this or I add different drawings and they connect to this grass component, this grass component will be protected. It won't be edited. And this is really important. If you as you start building different structures, if you have a floor and then you build walls and maybe a roof and maybe you have backyard area and you have a fence and or different things that in typical SketchUp design, you want to protect each component from being edited as you go through. Okay, so triple click, right click, and now you can see if I triple click it again, you can see it's showing me with these dotted lines everything that's part of that component. And what's really cool about that is then when I select this, I can come over to the materials panel on the right hand side. I can come in here and I can have a little browse and find some grass. And if I click that and drag that into and click on that, it will edit everything that's within that component. So it will make that all grass. Okay, so it won't if I didn't make it a component, it would and I clicked on that grass, it would just do the face. And I might just demonstrate that really quickly. Okay, so let's do another one. I'll do a quick little one here and I'll extrude this face up here just to show you this. When I come over to my grass, and I select the grass, it will then only do the face. Okay, but this one, it did it in one go because I made this a component. Okay, so that's a really important distinction and will protect each thing as you build. So now I continue to draw and I'll use my shortcut again for my line tool. And I'm going to zoom in on here. At this point, I want to build off this component. Okay, I'm going to come along the red axis and I'll do this, say 50 mil. Okay, I'm going to go along the green axis all the way back. I'll do my 2500 again. Come back here and I'm going to zoom in to make sure you can see there I'm on the red axis so it connects with that component. Okay, I'll zoom out. I'm going to join that here again. Now I've got my face has been highlighted. And I'm going to use my push-pull tool on this face, and I'm going to build this up to make a little wall. And I'll make that, say 500, and I'm going to create a fence along this. Now, I'm going to use my select tool or space. I'm going to triple click this component. Okay, you can see it hasn't highlighted this grass at all. It's protected this. It's only working on my fence. I'm going to right click this and make this my fence. Okay, I'm going to hit enter on that. And this time I'm going to use some fencing material and I'm going to click on that and it's going to make a fence for me. Okay, so it hasn't affected the grass. It's enabled some fence. Okay, so by making these components, I can then add the material and it'll apply it to all of the sketch dimensions within that component group. Okay, so let's have a look at I'm gonna get out of this panel here. I'm gonna bring up the 3D warehouse panel, and we're gonna have a little squiz in here. And I might want to put a fire pit in my backyard. So I'm going to search for a fire pit. I'm going to grab this fire pit, and it drops it straight into my backyard. I can just click on that. Now you might notice there that it's highlighted, it's already a component, right? It's got a group of, of sketch dimensions in shapes in here, and it's already had the materials applied. But I can move this around, and I may be able to edit this to some extent. So you can see that the scale option is available for me. So I can actually move using the scale tool. The move tool allows me to then position this where I want to position it. So I'm going to grab this corner here and I'm going to move around so I can see this and sit this on my bed of grass there. Okay, so when you use these 3D warehouse components, they sometimes can be edited, they can be scaled, and they can be moved around and positioned accordingly. So it'll just be a little bit of experimentation to have a look at what's in there. Is there useful components for you? But remember the triple click, make component, and then when you apply your materials or textures, it will apply it to the entire component.